Hello, hello, hello. Viewers, welcome once again to Count Your Blessings on Be Divine Network. Today we are looking at a different aspect of Count Your Blessings. We are seated here with Pastor Ray Ashley, and he has a different perspective, or we want to dive into different perspective on how he counts his blessings. He is based in Ghana, but visits or frequents the U.S. He happened to be a family member as well. But today we want to share some of his passion. He is a minister, he's a father, he's a husband, and he also holds dearly. I know he runs an orphanage, and so we want to dive deeper into it, and also more of the people of the diaspora who are here and how we should be counting our blessings, or in what very different aspects we should be counting our blessings and how far God has brought us. So, Pastor Ray Ashley, welcome to Count Your Blessings.
Thank you very much, and God bless us all. To our viewers also, the blessings of God be with you. As my sister said, my name is Pastor Ashley, based in Ghana. I run a ministry that works with kids and vulnerable persons with disabilities. We work with the deaf and the blind, those who are visually impaired, as we term them now. What we do mostly is that during Easter we have camps for those who are visually impaired, and then Christmas we have it for those who are audio impaired. So, and then we have these children that we have in the home. We usually don't use the word orphanage. We want to say children's home.
Okay.
Well, the word orphan sometimes has some connotations, especially with our local dialects. The word is even bad. So we want to say, as long as they have you and I, they are also, part of us. So we run that home, and we are based in Hachu, very near Medina.
In Accra,
in Accra.
Teshi. Is it Teshi or is it Accra?
In Accra.
I've lost a little bit.
Yes, near, from Legon, between Legon and Medina, Hachu is the one in between there.
Okay. Pastor, thank you so much for being on the show. Would you please share a little bit more about yourself to the viewers, for how far the Lord has brought you and where you find yourself now?
Okay. From college, I worked with Teshi Baptist Church for a long time, for some years. And then I moved into other ministries, other areas that I worked with. And for the orphanage, and this one is about 20th year now. Been in for the past 20 years. So total more than 30 years.
In ministry?
Yes, in ministry.
Awesome. And it looks like much of your time has been dedicated to serving the community specifically.
Yeah.
And also when you came to the U.S. in this last visit, I know you've had a lot of passion, especially for the youth, making sure that the children that God has blessed us here, those of us from the different parts of Africa, and we are located here in the U.S., that we are training our children and raising them in the ways of the Lord. Would you share with us some of your passions for these children and what you want to continue to see, or what you haven't seen yet?
With my observation, there are a few things that I think we can highlight and then start, bringing up to the fore. One has to do with identity. See, our people are caught in between those two cultures, the U.S. and Africa, in general as Africa, where specifically if you're from Ghana, Congo, Nigeria, or whatever, they're caught in between that. The sense that this is where they were born, this is where they live. Even those who are adults and who have migrated to this place are still the culture. And so, who are you? We always teach that when you are able to know your whys, your hows become easier. See, the moment you get the why am I here? What am I doing here? Why am I a human being? Who created me? All those factors makes you solid. Now, the culture here is that do it yourself. So, at a point in time, the child feels that, okay, I'm okay. Because the system has worked in such a way that some things that he has to struggle with is already in place. So they tend to mix up the culture. And since they are not able to find their identity, then they try to identify themselves with whichever the stronger force that is pulling him or her. The definitions of things here have changed. People are defining who you are. You can determine who you are. You can decide that I want to be anything, and it's acceptable. So the cultures have become different. And because they live there, not knowing how, where they come from, the others who have never visited the motherland. So they don't have any idea of what happens. So what they see on television or they see on the social media, that's how they have, made up their mind, and they are building their life around that. But it's more than that. Life is reality. It's not abstract or fantasy. It's real. You need to face issues. We are taught that definitely as time goes on, there's up and down. If you're in a valley, your next one is you're going up.
That's right.
And if you're up, your next one is up and down. That's how life is. Life is never smooth. But the perception given is that everything is easy. There are people who have not traveled here, and they assume that as for here, everything is easy. Sometimes, those of you who live here, you get some notes and some letters and some text messages, and the person assumes that, oh, in the moment I ask for this, it should come.
Well, you know how they say America is next to heaven.
That's right. So they believe that everything is so easy here. And when you go back, most of us even will visit, a short visit. People are expecting that when we get home, somebody said, oh,
problems?
Can you bring me an iPhone 14? As if it's so easy even to come by. So
meanwhile, you don't have an iPhone 14.
I don't have it. But he wants it. And he doesn't want he wants the Pro and he wants the Max added to it. So it's unfortunate. But the reality is that life is, it's not war. I don't want those also say life is war. No, life is war. But there is fun. Life, it's reality. It's real. We live a life that is real. So people should get it. Put their foot down. As America will say, where the rubber touches the ground.
That's right.
You must be able to stand firm. That's right. And then fight on.
There should be a grip.
Right.
Now with parents, for me, I know one of my biggest pet peeve, unfortunately, I've not excelled well in that area, is passing on our culture, especially the language, to our children. Here, what I've observed with Mexican counterparts or the Asian, they are able to speak their language. Their children gravitate very well to their culture. And for us, it almost seems as if teaching our children the language has become a great barrier. How do we overcome that?
You see, we are taught from Scripture. Paul said, you must know how to abase and how to abound. He said, to the Jew, I become like the Jew, and to the Gentile, I become like. He said, out of it, definitely I'll win. What we tend to do is, we tend to leave that. We have some very good cultural practices in Ghana. Example, our support system is the best. Better than the West. I was checking through and I found out that some of the suicide rate is so high. People are depressed more here. The conditions, with all these conditions in this place, in the West and wherever, America and Canada and the rest, but depression. Meanwhile, back home, some of the opportunities that are here, you don't even have a quarter of it. But you can see them happy. I have made up my mind, and when you come to our children's home, you don't find them just the fact that they are orphans or they are vulnerable children, sullen and feeling as if, no. It is what we give over, because you see, transference of spirit, as a man thinketh, so he is. So you teach people to have a positive mentality. Make sure that they know exactly what they want in life. And that if you are able to stand firm, you'll make it. And you, within the area of contentment. You see, the Bible never teaches us about satisfaction. There's nowhere. You will never be satisfied. But it teaches about contentment. See, contentment means that you have accepted it and you know better times are ahead. You know, you hold on to it and then you ask for more. But when you need to be, you know, always trying to crave for this, you want this. And here, that's what that's how the system is. You have this phone in a few weeks' time, a few
A new
months,
one.
a new one,
And
you
then
know,
this is
it's
obsolete.
updated and obsolete. Meanwhile, it's the same. They would sometimes change the shape. Sometimes they just add a few things. So you keep on, and it gets you always in debt. You know, here as compared to our homes.
Cash
I'm
and
talking
carry.
about Ghana. Yeah, that's cash and carry. You need to. But here, you know, you pick up your card, and if your credit score is good, you are able to purchase some things. But another area very important towards our children, which we must teach them, is our manners and ethics. You know, teach our people manners. You start from the start, right from the beginning. So we are taught scripture that when the tree gets or the thing gets bent, it's very difficult to straighten
Straighten
it.
it out.
So you teach them. I watched a clip and a man whose son is an actor in Nigeria. The son was coming to here and he said, "You are living here and your name is Okechukwu. Don't come back and tell me you are Chooks."
Oh, I know, right? Chooks. Because it's easier
Remember,
to
yes.
pronounce
Or,
chooks.
yes, or you go as a male, you come back as a male. Very, very important. This is culturally, this is our stand. Some of the things are basic and it has helped our grandfathers and especially in our retirement age. You know, when the children all leave, because here you will leave. They
Empty
even want,
nesters, yeah.
yes, your friends will be putting pressure on you. So we teach our children first to be themselves. It's very important. Know who they are, take up their stand within themselves. Because it is the moment you allow somebody to tell you who you are lost.
That's right.
That's what the enemy did to early parents. Taught them that, you know, you must, if you want to know somebody loves you, you must get this in order to. That's how the devil taught Eve. So you see, God doesn't love you. That's why he's not allowing you to eat this. But you see, if you eat this, you become like God. That's a shortcut to life. We'll all have eaten an apple and become like God. See, but we have been made in the image of God. So you start from that particular verse that made in the image of God. What is the meaning? We are social beings. We are spiritual beings. We are physical beings. So the four areas that you start with them, based upon what Jesus said, and Jesus grew in stature, in wisdom, he had favor with
That's
God
right.
and favor with
With
man.
men.
So the physical first, their physical well-being,
Right.
and secondly, mentally, education comes in, and education is not only school, not academics, but they learn. You teach them ethics, you teach them manners, you teach them how to respond to people, and then spiritual, that's their relationship with God. And not the man above, as sometimes it's called.
Yeah.
Oh, the man upstairs. Where is the? It's called. So you don't mention the old man above. Who is the old man above? Tell him you're talking about the creator of heaven and earth.
That's right.
And then the last one is social. See, that's where you break all the barriers. That's the physical aspect of relationship with other people. How
That's
to
right.
speak to people.
That's right.
You know, because the language here, if they pick it, you ask them and they answer with their head. They can stretch their hand with their left.
Oh my
Yes.
God, that's one of my pet peeves too.
Right. So we
Uh,
teach them etiquettes. So teach them this is the right thing. And you see, the moment you do that, you are guarding and guiding them. It's two things. You see, you guard and you
and
guide. The
guide.
protective aspect. Here, they when they get to a certain age, they don't want you to tell, when they go out, they feel like they have to go out. You don't tell them what to do.
So fortunate that's
Yeah.
the environment we
Right.
find ourselves in.
Because the moment you do that, you are trampling on the rights. But you see, we're supposed to guard and guide. So at a point in time, we release our authority onto, if it's a female, then on that day, the father walks her through the house, the daughter, and then hands over. So the authority from God to the parents, then the parents hand over to the man is going to marry. And then they go in that way. You let them understand that when they leave, they have left. They say, Father, you leave your father and mother, and you are
We
going to
claim
clean. So as you're going, stay. and make sure
Don't
that
come
it
back.
works. It's not like everybody's, oh, just any small thing. And because we pamper them and we think pampering is love. No. No, it's not love.
But I'm glad you brought that
Yeah,
up. That usually we equate pampering
yeah, it's a
with
good love.
love, and so even with the kids, when you're a little on the harsh
Yes,
side, or if you're a little tough on them,
yeah,
it doesn't feel like
yeah.
love, like you don't love them well.
Because they tend to play the two, the husband, their father and mother. So where they get their leeway, then they want to gravitate towards that place. But you see, firmness doesn't mean you have to be firm. You know what, and you say your yes is yes and your no is no. And stand firm. Sometimes they will feign as if they are angry. No, stand firm. As long as they are under your roof, you have that authority. And you start from the beginning. At the point you cannot. You
Right,
teach them what is right and what is wrong based upon truth,
right.
not assertions or fallacy. Because if you don't teach them God, the world will teach them
Somebody
who God
else.
is.
That's
And
right.
so that's how they will pick it up. And
That's
it is
right.
all false. Anything apart from reality is false.
That's right.
God is real. How? And then let them experience God personally. See, when you tend to choose things for kids, you don't, they are not able to make their good choice. But
That's right.
sometimes they will make their mistakes.
Right.
It's all part of the training. And then they will learn from it. When they see that there is love amongst the parents, yes, then they will live. And you live by example.
That's right.
You lead by example. You
Right.
live by example.
So
But
the
much
good
better.
environment that we need
Very
to
well.
provide for our kids, that as couples,
Right.
if you are blessed enough to have a mother and a father at home, the kids are watching, they are
Right.
observant. So how we interact amongst each other,
That's it.
it sets the precedence for what the
Very,
kids
very
are
important.
introduced to.
You open to them, especially when the are female or girls, they tend to grow faster.
Right.
And so you teach them from the start to respect their bodies. See, the Bible teaches about them being golden, being a palace, polished after the similitude. So they must be entered only by the king. It's only a king who lives there.
That's right. Who lives in a
Yes.
palace.
And Psalm 144 teaches about a palace. It's only kings who dwell there. So the king, the one who has been enthroned to take over, who is the husband, is the only one who enters. Not any strange child, any strange person. No. Teach them from that. You teach them, our culture teaches how to cook,
That's right.
how to tidy up places. These are things that are basic. You know, if you check people who have married the cross-cultural marriages, I'm talking about maybe the person is European and marries a Ghanaian who has been really, really nurtured. They will always tell you how good the food is. So they pick up the European and pick up the Ghanaian and put them together, and the man is always well nice. That's one. We talk about how, as I said, we relate to our in-laws. These are all some of our cultural practices. Don't just walk in or talk to your in-law. No, very, very important. They are part of it. They're part of the family. And when you marry, you remember that you marry into that other family. Anything that happens on the other side, it involves everybody. That's where the support system comes in. Very, very important. You know, I told them the last time that, look, if you don't able to teach your children well, and you as a parent, they will pick you up and go and deposit. In our culture, you don't deposit your parents. No, the whole family. And here I'm talking about the extended family. They will just cut you off.
That
You can't
that
even
that
go.
is that is their culture.
Yes.
So I know if I'm quoting that saying right, that when you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do,
Right.
and sometimes I feel like those of us that came here, we didn't just pick the good aspect of the culture.
Right.
We just embrace the culture wholeheartedly, without any differentiation or deciphering
Yeah.
through what even as Christians if that is your faith, which I am, and so I'm going to relate it to that, that what does scripture say about this part of what I'm embracing and how I'm raising my children? So I'm glad you
Because
touch
you see,
based on those.
our standard role as the society has thrown everything. The society I'm talking about, the society which you guys live in here, they've thrown everything into it. So now it's up to you to make the choice. But you also teach your children that the role model is Christ. That's how you
That's right.
so you tend them to see, and you teach them how Jesus said, learn from me and you have rest for your soul. So how did he relate to people? Excellent. How did he treat those that were labeled sinners? Excellent. How did he comport himself in public? He teaches us how to conduct ourselves when we go to a party. He said, when you are invited to any big occasion, take a seat somewhere. Go to you just perch somewhere. They will come and find you, and then they will transport you. They will give you an honor by moving you from the back to the front. That's how we behave in public. He taught us how to speak in public. He said we must know how to answer everybody. He taught us about worrying. He taught us about how even we must be able to keep the body, because the body is the temple of God. That's the physical aspect, taking good care of ourselves. You know, it involves everything. It doesn't mean, he said we have an opportunity for everything. I'm just paraphrasing that.
Right.
But it's not everything
But not
that is good
everything
for
is,
us.
yes.
No, there are some words. It doesn't even. He said these things should not even come out of your mouth, because for every useless,
Word.
idle, profitless word,
You're
you
going
give
to
account.
account for it.
So we throw out some of these words, and it also teaches us. I said, you can just identify a fool by the way he talks and walks. So those who measure IQ, they know it. So when a fool keeps quiet, he's considered wise. So you pick your words very well. You know how to speak to people. You know how to present yourself. You know, a lot of people fail these interviews simply because of their presentation. You ask the question, he finishes the answer, and then he adds it.
It adds more to it.
Yes, that's what the devil got Eve. Because God never said, don't touch it. And
Just
she added on
it,
to it. You see.
yeah. So, Pastor Ray, speaking of the culture, you mentioned something about how to communicate, and in this new age, if I will call it, everybody has a right.
Right.
So, if keeping quiet is considered being a fool,
Yeah.
and of course nobody wants to be a fool, so I have my right. So if you cross my line,
Tell you my
I'm gonna give you my peace of mind. What do you speak
Yeah.
to that? Because you
Very,
just touch
very,
on it a
yes,
little
very
bit.
important. Communication is very, very, very key. What are you saying? And how are you saying it? Is it something that will edify? Because we are advised that we should not let any unwholesome word come out of our mouth.
mouths.
But what will rather edify? What will build people up? The Bible, somebody was saying that he's so grateful to God that God has given him a tongue that is able to help the one who is weary, the one who is tired, the one who is giving up. So that is the premise. That's how you start, making sure that what you say. So we have three segments of speech: what we say to God, what we say to other people, and what we say to ourselves. The people who are not developing today because of the way they speak to themselves. They've given up. Two examples where the Lord asked, what do you want me to do for you?
It says the people.
He said, I want to see.
That's it.
Bartimaeus. He said, I want to see. Straightforward. No rambling. Then he meets another person who has been sitting down with the kind of mentality for 38 years.
The pool of Bethesda.
Right. He said,
What do you want?
he says, ask what? By the way, it says that he not knowing how long he has been there. The Lord knew already. Jesus asked him this simple question: do you want to get well? So there are some of our brothers and sisters who live here. The way they live here, you can even ask the same question: do you want to be a better person. Because the way he's living, definitely he will end up bad. Then he started, oh, as for me, I don't have anybody. And when even I want to do it, nobody wants me to do. See, that's where the identity still comes.
That's right.
He doesn't even know who he is. Everybody there by the pool wants to get a healing. So everybody's making an attempt. There are people who are here and they want, like, everything will fall from heaven for them. No, it doesn't work that way.
There are principles.
Principles, that's what I
right.
talked about, diligence.
That's right.
It has nothing to do with whether you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, or whatever. If you are diligent, you will succeed. Because diligence. And for us as a pastime from the Bible, the Lord says, He is the rewarder of those who
that
diligent. He didn't say those who seek him. So a lot of us, some of our prayer is just prayer. But in your prayer, you must be diligent in your prayer. God never rewards it. We are not able also to differentiate between what our needs and wants. God never gives us what we want. It's nowhere in Scripture. He said, my Lord shall supply your need.
According to
People don't know that
riches.
there's a big difference between want and need. God will give you what you need, which is necessary at a particular time.
Pastor Ray, before we dive deeper into that, let's take a quick break. Viewers, we'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Viewers, this channel has been a blessing to me. And while you watch this thing, the best you can do is to, right now, push that subscribe button, like and share. Somebody needs to share in this blessing as well. God bless you.
Hello, viewers. Welcome back. We've been talking with Pastor Ray Ashley. Pastor Ray, welcome back to the show.
Thank you again.
You were touching on a very, I'll say, delicate subject before we took the break. So if we want to continue from there about diligence, that it's not just doing it once, but being diligent.
Right.
And you mentioned earlier that some of us, just by virtue of being here, we expect things to just fall in place, or that you pray and manna should just still fall from heaven, and we're not diligent in the principles that are laid down both spiritually and as it governs the governance of the land that we are in. So if you want to continue from there.
Yes. When we talk about diligence, we're talking about doing something consistently and persistently, knowing what you are about. You have to have an insight into what you're doing. So you said that when you are informed, you will be reformed, and then there will be transformation. So that's the process. People want the product. They don't want the process. They don't want to go through things. They want the end. In life, there's no shortcut. No shortcut. So right from the start, God arranged everything, planned. He knew that the land would need water. So if you check as it was in the creation, He knows what should come first. You know, He will make the waters before He put the fish into it. The fish was not there before the water came. The water was there before the fish came in. You know, the land was there before the trees. So this is how God has made it. There are some basic things that you should get. You should be able to orient yourself in the land you are living in. This is where you are. What are the principles that govern this nation? The Bible teaches about us praying for where we are. It said our prosperity, our success is linked up to that place. When He took the Israelites, He said, well, you are praying for the place, but when they prosper, you will also prosper. Learn about the place. You don't go there with the intention to cheat. Because they have accommodated you, that place has held you up, holding you up. Pray for the land. We had people that God sent out to check the land that He was taking them to. 12. It's not always that the majority is the best.
Majority doesn't always carry the vote.
Out of the 12, 10 of them came with a very bad report. And 2. So it goes on to say that all the people who spoke against that place did not. I also advise those who live here not to say anything against your land. Because you have relatives there. And some of us, we are praying for the land, so your words will not even affect us. Yes, there may be problems there, but you see, you must be able to also wish that place well. Because
that's right.
And teach your people who are down there to always wish the place, because that is where they find themselves at that time. And when I'm traveling, the moment I get here, I pray for this land. Because for this time, for this period, this is where the land is accommodating me. And I wish the place well. When I move out, when I step into my country, I also wish it well. So I'll live in that place.
That's right.
When they came with that bad report, they added up something. They said, when we went, yes, we saw the land flowing with milk and honey. As a matter of fact, we have a product of the land. But we saw the end. You see, anytime you bring a but, you are trying to dismiss the first statement.
That's right.
They said, but the giants are there. And then the worst part of it, they said, then we saw ourselves as grasshoppers. You see, when you see yourself as a grasshopper, you'll be a grasshopper.
That's right.
And that's how, he said, and that's how we are. They are not. These are the children of the Most High God, sent by him for a place that. Then the other two said, okay, yes, we saw the giants all right. But they are bread for us.
That's right.
See, so it is the way you see the place God has placed you. And then the opportunities that are here. Because we can see the opportunity. There are people who are living here, and people come out from outside and see the opportunity, and they don't see it. Why? Because they have not opened their eyes wide. They have not asked the reason why the one who brought them here. No matter the means that you get here, there's a reason for you being here.
So as long as you are here.
Make sure that you bless it and make good use of it. But you don't look down those who have not been able to come here. There are people who are down there. They are doing better. Very, very well. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Genuinely they are. Why? Because you see, the blessings of God is everywhere. He can bless you everywhere.
Wherever he chooses.
It's our going out and our coming in.
Will be blessed.
Will be blessed. So the blessings of God can be, but the environment is also very important.
It's important.
So to whom much is given. Those of you who live here, God is expecting much from you. God will put you, and this is some of the things also you teach your children. Once in a while, when you bring them home, you always want them to, take them to places, bring them to my office, and they will come and see how they are blessed here.
Pastor Ashley, what's the name of your orphanage again?
Hopeway.
Hopeway.
Hopeway, yes.
Hopeway, okay.
So they will come and see kids who have less, but yet they are rejoicing in the Lord. Why? Because it's the mindset. But when sometimes they get things so easy, they assume the hand, and then they become complacent. So, for me, everything is all right. Yes, it is. So that's why God expected a higher standard
from us.
Yes, the marking scheme for those who live here will be higher than those who live in a village in the, let's say, whatever, Ghana, a small cottage or somewhere. Yes.
So, man of God, where you're linking is where I'm saying this, that in counting our blessings, it's not just acknowledging the blessings that God has blessed you with, but also to become a blessing, because we are blessed to be a blessing. And I see you kind of linking that too, so I want us to dive deeper into it, that some of us are here and it's all about us, or it's just about our children, not just investment for us, but also being able to help with things like that back home, like you mentioned, your home. I know you said you don't want to call it the orphanage because of the connotation is the children's home. How can we be a blessing? One of the things that I know, even from the medical sector, that has been a complaint or has been a concern is having bottlenecks, even back home, for people who want to help. Our people back home, there's been a lot of bottlenecks. Some of the demands placed on them is so much that it's almost discouraging that people can do what they need to do. How do we infiltrate those of us that are here based on your experience, being back home, running a home? How do we connect the two dots so we can also still continue to be a blessing?
Yes. Well, we're talking about needs and wants. The fact that people are down there doesn't mean that anything, you can send anything. There are people who send things, and those things are not useful and usable. Just because they are just discarding something, they pack it and bring it. No. You give cheerfully. and you give out of your heart, something that will be a benefit to the people. We know that clothing, very beneficial. And when you send clothing, you check the weather. Our place is a temperate zone. So some things don't work that way.
So
So
like the
though it's
heavy
clothing,
clothings and
yes,
things.
though it's clothing, but it cannot be used there.
Right.
Because if you bring a winter jacket to somebody down there in Africa, I mean, you have not, yes, you have given a gift. Yes, you have done that, but it's not useful and it's not usable. And then another area, as you're saying, yeah, there are a lot of bottlenecks, as you said. And there are people who have sent money and the people do not use it that way. As I was teaching you, you expand your network of those who supervise, those who demand accountability.
Accountability.
Is it being used rightly? So one of the principles I use is that normally if people are giving, I tell them what we need. If you can buy it and bring it.
Okay. As opposed to
As
sending
opposed
money.
to. If you
Okay.
send the money, you also have to find out whether we use it. So you give it to, for instance, if somebody is sending me money, yes, you can send it direct to me. You can send it through. And then if you have relatives there, you give it to them. Let them bring it. And then let them once a while visit.
Okay.
To see that, yes, this really is being used. What exactly is it being used for? I will give you another example. For instance, electricity bill. What we always tell people, if you want to give it to us based upon that, you pay, because now electricity, you can pay it even from your phone.
Right.
Then you give my number and the receipt will show. So you don't give me the physical cash, but you have paid
But
on
you
our
paid
behalf.
the,
I just give you our
Okay.
number, our bill number.
Okay.
Like we used to do the meter number. And you pay it on the app and it shows.
Okay.
These are a few things that you can do. And then you visit Ghana, you come there. Because this is where you have put your money in.
Right.
Make sure, step there in a small, even if it is 30 minutes visit, oh, this is what is going on. And then the same thing, you send people money to build a house for you. They'll go and take pictures somewhere. And all that. So you want to say the whole Ghana, you don't have anybody else to. So when you want to start, wherever you want to start with, get other people apart from your relatives or whoever is in charge of it. Get people to know the place, see the place, make sure that this is what they are doing for you, and frequent that place in the absence of. Once in a while, they will go there. So when they bring you the picture and whoever is in charge also bring, you can compare.
And so
And then you let another third party go and make sure who is speaking the truth.
Right.
You are safe. That's what we call due diligence. You do all. And so if you have to get a reputable agent to be building for you, that's what you do.
that. Okay.
Yeah, but there's the reason that, oh, I'm here. Okay, you send the money and you don't even care.
Or sometimes you don't want to offend people because they might, quote unquote, think you don't trust them. So you take their word for it.
You have to do that. Trust, as I said, trust is the last. People, there's faith, there's belief before trust. So people just jump and start trusting. No. That's not how you do it. It's just like a habit. You have a behavior, a habit you keep doing, and then it becomes your behavior, it becomes your character, and then it becomes your nature. So by the time it gets to the nature, so the psychologist will tell you, if you are counseling somebody, you have to find out the level that the person
they are at.
Is it a habitual? The habit things you can stop so easily. Or it has become a behavior, the way he does his thing. Character, inbound. And then when he gets to the nature, it is now moved from it's the soul. It's become
a
him.
soul
That's who
problem.
he is. So then you start bringing the person down that before. So it's the same way. You also have to tackle it, get people to check on it. Make sure that you find out, not from one, not from two. People, they're very good people. Never count out people out. No, we always say, oh, behind it. It's not right. Everybody is not good. It's not true.
It means everybody's not good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not. It is not true. We have people who are genuine, honest, and really. And also, one of the things you do that you must appreciate. One of the things we have taught that, yes, you are here, but there are people who have been lifting up their hands for you. Joshua was the one who was on the battlefield. That's what I've taught my family here. Because you don't have time even to pray. You are tired. Comes back from work. You see, yes, Joshua was the one who was at the battlefront. but his victory was based upon somebody's hands, which was on the mountain,
Lifted. That's
raised.
right.
He said, when the hands come down,
Then
you lose
the
it.
battle
So there are people who are
belongs.
holding you up. And we all know how our mothers have been doing and our
That's right.
grandmothers have been
That's
holding.
right.
They don't want anything.
That's right.
That's not what they need. Yeah? Yeah, we know sometimes people are very, 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 they will just be calling you and be demanding things. And how we understand that. But there are others too who are holding you up, praying for you, wishing you well. Every time they go to church, every time they find an opportunity, they commit you into their
That's
hands.
right.
So
That's right.
you also appreciate it. Also, you pay them. No, you cannot pay.
That's right.
But you appreciate it because that's what Joshua did. Said he saw that anytime. So they have to get 2 more people to hold Moses' hands.
That's right.
They get so as long as his hands were up there,
The victory was,
so
yeah.
as long as that person is fine, as long as you are in touch with that person down there, yes, and that's what I'm not talking about getting some of these fake prophets. And no, we'll come to that point. Very, very important. You are here, and there are people they are not even giving their parents money. They are not taking care of them. They are taking care of a fake pastor who have said, I saw this, I saw this, I saw this. And you see, you have moved away from Ghana, but Ghana still is in you. They've not been able to acclimatize with the weather and the situations here. How can somebody be giving a vision that the Lord has? Everything God will reveal to somebody, He must give you a sign. God will give you a sign.
Of that revelation.
The revelation God will give you, the one who is working on. And in our new covenant, New Testament age, the Holy Spirit will speak to you first by convincing and convicting you. So if somebody comes, oh, the Holy Spirit says, I should marry you. Whereas we understand a marriage is a union of 2 people. He must also tell you.
That's right. That's
So
right.
don't be here and people say, oh, I'm praying for you, see, because I'm praying for you, so you have to send this money. Let me get some people to. Who is praying for who? You are the best person who can explain yourself to God better than any pastor, any prophet. You see, we should teach our people to learn how to pray for themselves.
Okay.
We will pray with them and then we'll pray for them.
That's right.
That's how you do it. But they must pray for them. No matter how we pray for. She said, when 2 people shall agree. So what I'm praying for, you must agree.
That's right. That's right.
That's how it is done. So don't sit here and pack some money. You have to build your house. You have to take care of maybe your parents. There are people whose parents are still there. And they will send some money to somebody who presumes and assumes that he is. And then they will use the money to buy big cars and, cars that their own parents, they don't even have a car. You buy a car for.
So this is lack of discernment,
Right.
as I see it. So we should spiritually be discerning.
Right.
Like you said, the Holy Spirit is in us, and He should be ministering unto
He
us
does.
as well,
Yes.
which He does.
Yes.
But some of us, we are not receptive
Right.
to it. Even when on the inside, you can feel that no, something is not checking, but we still go ahead and we do it anyway, or we involve ourselves into gearing it back to still on the blessing that we are able to give back home, like you said, building that trust, being able to hold people accountable for what is being sent and all. With our children, you mentioned being able to take the kids back, maybe introducing them to where we, even as the parents, we've come from. But I know most parents, which I've done that a few times, threaten to take my kids back to Ghana and take them to some remote village because they are not appreciating what they have here. How do you see that as the right way, that taking the kids home is a form of punishment, quote unquote, but not to really educate them in a more positive way, but it's more to reform them, but out of fear and punishment? Is that the right approach?
That's not the right approach because, you see, we punishing, trying to punish somebody. People always say that God doesn't punish people. He disciplines us.
Discipline.
There's a time he has allocated or allotted for the one that we will call punish. That will be the judgment. But for those of us who know him, which means that he straightens us.
That's right.
Corrects us. When he rebukes you, he does all this in love. So you can be doing that, but the child must know the reasons and why you're doing it based upon the love that you have.
That's right.
See, and we always have to use God as an example. And so any moment the devil is able to let you know how God doesn't love you, he has finished with you. That's what he started from the start. Right from Eve, he said, God does not love you. That's why he has not given you permission to, because he knows that the day you eat, you become like him. Meanwhile, we're talking about the creator and the creature. How can you eat something that has been created, then you eat, then you become God? But that's the, and then your identity comes in. Oh, so God doesn't love me. So let the children understand right from the start that you do this because you love them.
So
And
it's
you don't
discipline,
always
not
say,
punishment.
yes.
Pastor, before we dive into that deeper, let's take a break, viewers. We're going to take another quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Sleep saves lives. People with sleep apnea don't just snore throughout the night. Their airwaves get obstructed, and next thing you know, they're not able to breathe. Did you know that diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, weight gain, daytime drowsiness, and low energy can all be linked to sleep apnea and snoring? Snoring is not sexy, it's fixable with a non-invasive therapy using laser. No surgery, no cutting, no bleeding. See instant change after the first treatment. We have the cutting-edge technology at Amazing Grace Dentistry. For free consultation, please call us at 972-238-5000. That's 972-238-5000. An Amazing Grace Dentistry specialist is waiting to assist you. Call 972-238-5000. Learn more by going to AmazingGraceDental.com.
Hello, viewers. Welcome back. We are speaking with Pastor Ray Ashley. So far, it's been wonderful, very informative. I know some of us already know these things, but it's nice to hear it from a different perspective and counting our blessings, not just in what we have acquired and can still acquire, but also how we can give back to the motherland and also to those around us. In a nutshell, Pastor Ray, welcome back to Count Your Blessing again. But in a nutshell, how would you like your story to be told?
With my story, as I always believe that it should be told based upon what God has done with me, through me, and for me. The influence that God had used me, the people that he has used me to help, which I'm still in it for the past 30, 35 years in ministry, what God has done for me and through me. There's so many people, notable people, as a matter of fact, that God has used them through my hands. Even with the home, the past 20 years, I've had more kids who have passed through that place. Over 40 to 50 children who have passed now. Some have grown to become adults. But I always want people to see it from the perspective of God, what God can do. He's able to pick somebody from somewhere and be able to help him. So we use the term rehabilitation and reintegration. So the child comes, is rehabilitated and then reintegrated into society to become a useful citizen. People that we're able to reach, also community, not necessarily part of the home, but the part of the community where we work.
Okay.
All the places that I've worked with, we must be able to leave. You see, there's a difference between impact and impression. Impressions fade. People always want to, and those who are in the showbiz, those who are, leaders, a lot of them, they just impressed.
They leave an
After,
impression.
yes. And it doesn't have, the reason why Jesus is supremo is because he leaves an impact. He makes an impact in your life.
That's right.
He leaves something that bears fruit. All we need to do is to water it. So I believe in that, leaving an impact where people value you. You also bring a valuable thing, because everything that is valuable Things that have price, you didn't have price, have no value. Because it's just the price tag. Sometimes there's a sales, a reduction, but when it has value, things that you cannot buy,
You
like
can
joy,
never put a price on it.
faith, all those things, you can't buy it. So they are more valuable. So this is the thing that I always want, based upon things that are so valuable that we're able to live with people. That's impressions, as I said, they fade. So there's no need to impress anybody. Jesus never impressed anybody. He
But he
left an impact.
impacted.
Yes.
He
You
impacted.
remember that the first people who acknowledged his resurrection were unbelievers. Not the believers. The believers, rather, when they came, they still didn't believe. But the soldiers who were there, when the angel came, when they went back to report, they said, he has resurrected. We're just there, a light came from heaven, we all fell down as if
And this
dead.
is,
And then they said, go tell people that he has not. Go and lie. But they knew he has resurrected.
and they knew the truth.
Yes. So, and it is there. Those who know, know. That's what we say. And if you know, you know.
You know, you know.
Yes.
So, Pastor Ray, for the home, it is a great passion of mine as well, as you have mentioned. Anytime we have an opportunity to be a blessing,
Right.
because we are blessed to not just keep the blessing. And one analogy that I love so much is like a pond. A pond, because it doesn't flow out, it only collects. So it doesn't take much for a pond to get smelly and stinky, and that it needs to be cleaned out. But when it is a river, it flows out, that even the things that come in, it's able to weed out
Right.
the debris and things like that. So as Christians, we are called to be a blessing. So we're not supposed to be ponds, but we are supposed to be rivers that is continually flowing out with blessings. So if anybody wants to be a blessing to your home, how do they go about it?
We always believe in trying as much as possible in our way to also extend that blessing. So as long as somebody says that we want to be accountable, and we do a network where accountability. So whoever is giving us something here, we have people here who they can give to,
Okay.
with our numbers that later they will see on
Show
the screen.
Okay.
And then whoever is here must also get a friend or a relative or somebody he trusts, so that between us and the one in Ghana and the one here, it should be that everybody knows that this amount has been sent, this particular thing has been sent. And then two, we give out specific needs that will help. Areas of education.
Okay.
You give us laptops, very, very important, because their kids will have that. They have seen it, they have never even touched one before. That's very important. Clothes.
Okay.
Clothes, summer clothes.
Summer
Shorts,
clothes.
T-shirts.
No winter clothes. Don't
No
send
winter
winter
clothes.
jackets.
Yes. So these are basic things. Sneakers.
Okay.
School bags, school supplies.
Okay.
These are direct things that, yes. Then, if it has to do with money, areas that our money really goes into is our utility bills.
Okay.
So, if you have a friend in Ghana, you want to send them some money, and you think that it's going to electricity bill, just give it to the person. Let the person come take our number, our bill number, pay it directly. Now they can even do it online.
Okay.
Yeah, you
On
pay
their
the bills.
apps
Yes,
and
on the
things.
app, straightforward.
Okay.
Electricity of Ghana app on. Everybody has it on this. You can pay, but it will reflect on our phone.
Okay.
Our number, the
That the
number that we
payment has
use,
been
and it
made.
will also reflect
Okay.
on mine. Then we can acknowledge first the one who gave, and then whoever is here. And then when we get opportunity to come to someone like I'm here, but also have a time to meet whoever has given us, and then we can say thank you. I prefer that way. And anytime you come to Ghana, you are welcome to visit the place where your money has gone to. Step there. Make sure you come
Okay.
and you see the work that we do. Then maybe if you are giving 100, we start giving 500.
That's right. That's right.
That's the best.
That's
Because now you
the-
see what we're doing, and then you can support us. So I
That's
said we work
absolutely-
with kids, vulnerable children,
Okay.
kids who are really, really in dire situations. Then we work with those who are visually impaired,
Okay.
and then those who are audio impaired, as we call it.
So visual and audio.
Yes.
So let's say if we have somebody in the medical field who wants to bring in help from here, like most doctors do, they can also reach you
Right.
and make those links.
Right.
So they'll be able to receive.
Right. Off-counter drugs like
Okay.
vitamins, painkillers.
Okay.
Very simple medications that kids use.
Okay.
Yeah. Children,
Okay.
and then maybe, anything adults will have up to 18 years.
Up to 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
these are very, very important. We really need them because we can't afford them in Ghana as we should.
And you do have you have a library as
We
well,
have a library.
right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So children's books, not normally they bring us. We get books that are America based. The concept and the context is
Okay.
sometimes so
Not very
yeah,
relatable.
not relatable. So and then no. As for toys, no.
No toys.
No toys.
Okay.
If the toys you want to bring are educated things that they can use, like I said, sometimes yes they need the games.
So educational things.
Yeah, educational toys is
Okay.
something.
All right. Pastor Ashley, thank you so much. So viewers, we've heard a lot. There's still a lot more to talk about. But unfortunately, we have to go. So I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for tuning in today. Pastor Ray Ashley, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know your visit is very short, but we appreciate you speaking with us.
Thank you.
But also, viewers, I want to reiterate that when it comes to the blessings that God has bestowed upon us and that which He has entrusted into our hands, it's not just for us to keep, but it's also for us to be a blessing. And as we have heard today, it is not about impression, it is about an impact. And in living an impact, what more can you do better in living an impact than to be able to give to a need? People in need, children in need. I know most of us, we give for tax reduction purposes. It's great, but that's not the only way and the reason to give. But just because we have been called to be a blessing and leave an impact and also be influencers, how else can we influence but to be able to give to a need? That way we are also able to help educate. So as we have heard today, it's not just about maybe just clothing or just feeding, but also educating so they can be infiltrated back into society, right?
Right.
So for me to you, let's leave lasting not impressions anymore, but impacts. That when we are not here, even though we're here in the U.S., we are also leaving impact back home. The numbers are below. We'll leave addresses. And the one thing I really love that Pastor Ray has touched on more is about the accountability. Making sure that whatever you are giving to, it is reflective of what is being done. And I know we've heard a lot of horrible stories
Right.
about homes that actually have not done a quarter of what they said they'd be doing. They're not helping the children, but in other ways, they have actually accepted and misused the funds that are supposed to be allocated to helping and raising those children. So today, I want to encourage you, join hands with us and with the home. And I can keep remembering.
Hopeway Ministries.
Hopeway Ministries, Hacho in Accra. You'll have the address and the numbers. Reach out and be a blessing. And as always, count your blessings. Thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.